and welcome to Morehead Today. I'm Gary Cornett, and today is Tuesday, March 8th, 2011. Morehead Today is MSU-TV's newest production, bringing you local news and events, as well as spotlighting local artists and musicians. Morehead Today can be contacted at moreheadtoday@gmail.com, and you can watch Morehead Today at youtube.com/moreheadtoday. Please check out all of the MSU-TV programming at moreheadstate.edu/MSU-TV. Today on the show, Michael Farr speaks with Jen Crisp and Jill McBride about Meet MSU Days. Jason McClurg will bring us the latest exhibition from the Kentucky Folk Arts Center. Dr. John Hennon will tell us more about mountaintop removal and the group Kentucky Rising, and we have Dr. Sue Talashay here in the Channel 77 studios. Our musical guest today is Todd Branham, a Morehead State production student, and when we come back, we'll have some local news and events. Please stay tuned to Morehead Today. Welcome back to Morehead Today. Here's a look at what's going on in Morehead. There will be a Jazz 2 concert in Duncan Recital Hall this Thursday, March 10th at 8 p.m. And on Sunday, Duncan will host a bassoon recital from Tang Cook at 3 p.m. and the Baird Winds faculty recital will be at 7. On Thursday, March 10th at 6 p.m., the Claypool Young Strider Gallery at MSU will host the 2011 Reverse Ekphrasis Project. The event will feature Morehead State University writers, visual artists, and musicians. Over 20 artists will be featured and refreshments will be served. This event is free and open to the public. Morehead State University's open house is this weekend, beginning in Aduc at 9 a.m. this Saturday, March 12th. Prospective students and their families can learn more about the university. The event lasts until noon and offers a chance for students and parents to learn about academics, financial aid, residence halls, and more. For more information about the open house, call 1-800-585-6781. When we come back, we'll hear more about Meet MSU Days and the Kentucky Folk Arts Center's newest exhibition. We have Dr. Sue Talashay here in the studios, and we'll hear from Dr. John Hennon about mountaintop removal. Stick around. Morehead Today will be right back.
For those students with places to go and no car, don't forget to ride your bike. Riding your bike can be a quick way to class, and it's also an enjoyable way to ride through town. Just remember to pay attention and be safe.
Welcome back to Morehead Today. Morehead State University is hosting a series of events entitled Meet MSU Days. These events offer prospective non-traditional, transfer, and veteran students information on MSU. Students who decide to enroll at these events will have their application fees waived. Morehead Today's Michael Farr spoke with Jill McBride and Jen Crisp about Meet MSU Days.
Morehead State University's Transition Center has announced 4 Meet MSU Days for prospective adult, transfer, and veteran students interested in obtaining information on Morehead State.
The Meet MSU Days that we're having this spring, partnering with Jen Crisp, who is the Transfer Enrollment Services Counselor at Morehead State University, and I'm the Non-Traditional Commuter Coordinator at Morehead State University, and we've partnered together this spring to have 4 Meet MSU Days at several of the KCTCS two-year institutions.
Representatives will be present from key academic departments, financial aid, and enrollment services.
We're having 3 more coming up in March, and the first one is going to be on the 17th of March at Hazard Community Technical College in the First Federal Center, and then the next one will be March 22nd in Maysville and March the 24th at Southeast Whitesburg campus, and those will be 1 to 5 p.m.
Students bringing all official transcripts may be admitted provided they meet MSU admission requirements.
We transport several of our Morehead State University representatives that include academic support services, they include student support services, academic department representatives, and we basically provide the students that attend these events with information about the university from the academic side to the student support side. We also, for students who complete an application at these events, we do waive the $30 application fee, and we also provide them with a transcript request form that they can complete, authorizing us to obtain their transcripts, and we take care of that fee as well.
We're excited excited because it's essentially an open house on the road where we take several members of the campus community out to the region, and students can get information on admissions, financial aid, online programs, scholarships, veterans resources, adult support services. So we're really, really excited to go out into the region with it.
This is Michael Farr for Morehead Today.
Welcome back to Morehead Today. The Kentucky Folk Art Center opened a new exhibition last week. On March 3rd, the center held an opening reception for This Great Nation Will Endure, Photographs of the Great Depression. The exhibition features many images of the Depression and is on loan from the Franklin D. Roosevelt Presidential Library and Museum in New York. Jason McClurg was at the reception and spoke with Adrian Swain about this display.
On Thursday, March 3rd, the Kentucky Folk Art Center had its opening reception for This Great Nation Will Endure, Photographs of the Great Depression. Morehead Today sat down with Adrian Swain, the artistic director at the Kentucky Folk Art Center, to tell us more.
The exhibition itself was put together by the FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt Library and Museum, which is in Hyde Park, New York, but it's with materials drawn from the Library of Congress. So all the photographs that are in this exhibition are part of this much larger collection of photographs that were taken under the Farm Service Administration during the late 30s and early 40s. They were a group of photographers. There was a guy called Stryker who was charged with the development of this project in Washington, and he recruited some already well-known photographers who then were paid to go out and take these photographs, and they did it regionally. So there were photographers who shot all over or areas of particular focus and interest. But the underlying theme or the underlying purpose of it was to document what was going on in America with ordinary people at the time of what we now refer to as the Great Depression. There was incredible upheaval, incredible hardship, a lot of migration. There was the Dust Bowl. It was really motivated, if you want to use the word propaganda, you can use that, because the idea was to, behind the project, was to inform the American public at large of what was actually going on in the interior of the United States. Now that could be as much in Washington, D.C. as it could be in rural Oklahoma or New Mexico. They were allowed to be used, or they were offered, and they were made available to be used in magazines and newspapers, publications, because there was no television at the time, but in those publications, free of charge, that the government sponsored to draw attention to the kinds of hardships that ordinary people were facing and enduring. And looking around at this exhibition, it can choke you up.
The Kentucky Folk Art Center is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and admission is free. More information can be found at kyfolkart.org. For Morehead Today, I'm Jason McClurg.
When you get dirty, you need to wash your hands. Left to wipe out before you eat. Left to playing in the street. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Everybody wash your hands, 'cause being clean is the way to be. Yeah.
Welcome back to Morehead Today. Last month, a Morehead State professor and a small band of students headed to Governor Beshear's office in Frankfort to have their voices heard. The group has adopted the name Kentucky Rising. Kentucky Rising seeks to curb the use of mountaintop removal for coal mining in Kentucky. Morehead Today spoke with Dr. John Hennon about the sit-in at the Capitol.
On Friday, February 11th, 10 o'clock in the morning, about 20 Kentucky residents entered the office of Governor Steve Beshear We had notified the governor a week or 10 days ahead of time that we were coming and requested a meeting with him to discuss several grievances about the destruction of communities and water systems in eastern Kentucky as a direct result of a mining practice called mountaintop removal. The governor at first was not willing to meet with us, and we informed the governor's staff that we would be remaining in the office until he met with us, and if we weren't satisfied with the tenor and the nature of the responses that he gave us to our list of grievances, we were willing to be removed and arrested at the end of the day. And we were determined that we were going to try to do what we could to bring this issue to the forefront of public attention and try to pressure the legislature into the public debate. The biggest danger, there are numerous dangers. As a matter of fact, one of my friends in Kentucky Rising, which is the name that we eventually gave ourselves by the time we left the governor's office on Monday, February 14th, he refers to it quite accurately as mountaintop bombing. It is the destruction and the scraping off, the blasting off of the tops of mountains to get at coal seams that are difficult to get to through means of drift mining, regular mining. It's much more cost effective up front for coal companies to destroy the mountaintops than it would be to set up safe and productive underground mining operations. So this is why they do it. What happens in mountaintop removal is that in the blasting process and in the mining process itself, it destabilizes surrounding property. The blasting does damage to houses in the region. The most egregious and the most direct and destructive effects of mountaintop removal, in addition to the absolute destruction of that property, has to do with the chemicals that are unleashed in the blasting process and the mining process that corrupt and pollute water sources in the surrounding area. People who are interested in this issue, and I want to reiterate, the coal industry likes to portray us as being opposed to all forms of mining. We're not. We are somewhat concerned about the damages to the environment and the climate that are caused by the burning of carbon, but we're not naive enough to assume that the coal mining industry should or will be phased out in the near future. We don't have a problem with safe, productive, regulated underground mining. What our problem is with this particularly destructive form called mountaintop removal.
Today in the studios I have Dr. Sue Talashay, Morehead State University professor. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for asking me.
So Dr. Hennon was telling us a little more about the environmental destruction that comes along with mountaintop removal for coal mining. Could you elaborate a little further on the specific types of destruction that are involved?
There really involves air and water, and the dust contaminants that come from mountaintop removal mining are just horrendous. They create a lot of asthma problems, other respiratory issues. Water contaminants create a huge problem with manganese, selenium, all these heavy metals that end up in the water. And coal companies aren't always very honest in their reporting as to how much of those heavy metals actually go into the water. And that's what's behind the big controversy over the EPA's new conductivity rule. And actually it's not a new rule, it's an old rule that's just now being enforced. But when you look at the health, I mean, I could sum up all the different, all the medical research on the deleterious effects to human health and this horrible impact between respiratory and water. As the amount of coal production increases in a given county, the health risks increase. And we're talking about risks to lungs, kidney, liver, cancer, cardiac and pulmonary problems. And it's horrendous. It really is. It's a significant finding. There was a very, very good compendium of research in Science magazine by Margaret Palmer out of University of Maryland. And you've got, dozens of studies showing this over and over and over again. So really to declare the science not to be accurate it's the evidence weighs in heavily in favor of mountaintop removal. and its effects, it kills people, and it's making Appalachian people sick.
Traditionally, we think of other styles of mining, deep mining and such. How long has it been a common practice to do mountaintop removal?
Mountaintop removal really started back in the early 90s. And from the early 90s until now, you've seen the past 15, 20 years, you've seen a real increase in all kinds of surface mining. And mountaintop removal has been characterized as surface mining on steroids, because it just completely denudes the top of mountain, right? Take all the lumber off, take all the topsoil off, you go down to the rock, you blast the rock, you fill the valleys, and the valleys are where the headwater streams are. So it's incredible, the amount of damage and destruction. And underground mining has been, well, the coal industry will tell you that it's more expensive to do underground mining, but if you do it efficiently and responsibly, it's about the same cost. It really, you know, there have been studies that show that you can do underground mining for pretty much the same cost. It's just that mountaintop removal is, well, speaking in engineering terms, very efficient. But it's such a huge footprint and such a horrible impact on the surrounding countryside, and the water that comes out of eastern Kentucky is, well, eastern Kentucky's like a sponge. When it rains, that water is cleansed and then goes into creeks and rivers that flow toward Lexington and Louisville. So, you know, it's not just a cliche that we all live downstream. Everyone's going to be impacted by this water.
Absolutely.
And that water quality.
You mentioned the EPA's conductivity rules. Could you tell us a little more about that, and specifically how much they're being violated?
It's hard to say because, you know, when you look at the coal industry, you don't want to stereotype, because there are coal companies that are mining responsibly. Mm-hmm. Problem is, too many of them aren't, and it would only take one, and one coal company may operate several mines at the same time. So, you know, this is an issue. The conductivity rule is, well, conductivity in water is about the amount of heavy metals in that water. And you can look at water and it can be perfectly clear, but you cannot detect with the human eye, naked human eye, how many heavy metals are in that water. I remember seeing a documentary not too long ago where a guy took some water out of a tap, his own tap, right? And he filled this glass of water and he put it here, and then he took bottled water and put it in a glass side by side, and he took Pepto-Bismol tablets and dropped them in both. And the water that was bottled water, well, the Pepto did what we all see Pepto do. The water that came out of his tap turned brown, bubbled up and out and over the glass. Okay, now that's water that he thought was safe.
Wow.
Okay, so you see, the problem is that the citizens who are at ground zero for this, I mean, we're all bullseye, we're all on the rings here at the bullseye, or the target, but those folks are at ground zero, and too many of them don't know that their water has been compromised, is a nice way to put it. So, and this is bathing water, this is drinking water, this is, you know, water for any kind of just bare human necessity. We're not talking about recreation, which is important because tourism is important. But we're talking about basic human needs, and it's a violation of human rights for corporations to be allowed to basically poison the water supply.
All right. Well, thank you very much for telling us more about this, Dr. Talashay, and coming on the show. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Todd Branham in the studios. Welcome back to Morehead Today. My guest today in the studio is Todd Branham. Todd is a student here at Morehead State. How you doing today, Todd?
I feel fantastic.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about your musical influences.
As far as influences go, my biggest ones would be Deftones, Incubus, Stone Temple Pilots, and Thrice.
More of a modern rock type of guy.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So what are you going to play for us here today?
The first song that I'm going to play is The Big Empty by Stone Temple Pilots.
All right, sounds good. Let's hear it.
riding faster in my car, falling further from just what we are. Smoke a cigarette and lie some more. These conversations kill, falling faster in my car. Time to take her home, her dizzy yet conscious letting. Time to take a ride, at least today, no conversation. Time to take her home, her dizzy yet conscious letting. Time to wait too long, to wait too long, to wait too long. When too much walking shoes one thing, when too much tripping and my soul's one thing. Time to take a ride, at least today. Her name is what it means. Too much walking shoes, one thing. Time to take her home, her dizzy yet conscious letting. Time to take a ride, at least today, no conversation. Time to take her home, her dizzy yet conscious letting. Time to wait too long, to wait too long, to wait too long. Our conversations kill, our conversations kill, our conversations kill, yeah. Time to take her home, her dizzy yet conscious letting. Time to take a ride, at least today, no conversation. Time to take her home, her dizzy yet conscious letting. Time to wait too long, to wait too long, to wait too long. Our conversations kill, our conversations kill, our conversations kill, yeah.
Welcome back to Morehead Today. Our guest today in the studios is Todd Branham, an MSU production student. Todd, how long have you been playing guitar?
I've been playing guitar for around 7 years.
And I understand you write a little bit of your own material?
Some, yeah.
Can we hear an original tune?
Sure. This song's called Trash to Memory.
All right.
Take it away. Rip it all up until nothing is left. This is what you do. Every single memory was nothing but a lie to me. Everything I thought I knew all disappears in the thought of you. Now step out into the waters. Which way do we go next? I can't distinguish from the bite marks on your neck. Rip it all up until nothing is left. This is what you do. Every single memory was nothing but a lie to me. Everything I thought I knew all disappears in the thought of you. Disappears in the thought of you.
Add Beaker Bucks to your Eagle card today.
Welcome back to Morehead Today. That's all the time we have for this week. Thanks for watching. We'd like to thank Todd Branham, Jill McBride, Jen Crisp, Dr. John Hennon, Dr. Sue Talashay, and Adrian Swain for being on the show today. Morehead Today can be contacted at moreheadtoday@gmail.com, and you can watch Morehead Today at youtube.com/moreheadtoday. Please check out all of the MSU-TV programming at moreheadstate.edu/MSU-TV. Next week on the show, MSU Corps, along with several partners, works to bring the Kentucky Build-A-Bed project to our region. We'll also continue our coverage of the MSU Career Fair. We'd like to remind you all to attend the fair next Tuesday, March 15th, in the Krager Room of the Adrian Doran University Center. On behalf of the entire staff of MSU-TV, I'm Gary Cornett, and that's what's happening in Morehead today.